What's up, y'all? Good to see you. Happy Monday evening. Let me turn, man. I just sat down. Let me turn the fan off real quick. Sorry about that. I just got in myself, but I'm ready to go. Your turn to pick the Fed tonight, Arizona boy. Yeah, Arizona boy. You can pick the Fed. You can pick the Fed tonight. We never believed the allegations, not for a second. I made sure to clear your name, Arizona boy. So glad to have everybody tonight. We're going to be talking about the Linnville Raid specifically, not the entire Great Raid from 1840, but the Linnville Raid in the first half of the Great Raid, let's say. Elite Superground, what's up? Nick Sweeney, what's up? Arizona boy, what's up? Engineer, what's up? Good to see everybody. Red Diesel, nice name. What's up, man? Good to see you. Is it your first time here? If it's your first time here, put a 1 in the chat. Let's see. Resan, what's up, man? Good to see you again. Oh, Risa. I'm sorry. Risa R. Good to see you again. Man. Mike Holtz, what's up, man? Patrick D. Good to see everybody. Cool. I think you guys will like tonight's stream. It's we're pulling it right from Empire of the Summer Moon. A couple other sources too, right? But this is many people's. I think a lot of people didn't know about this story until this book came out. Let's see. I watch most of the vids on live chats. Right on, Red Diesel. Cool, man. Risa Arm. Yes, you remembered. Absolutely. Great book, says LW. Yeah, it's a really good book. It kind of got me, and I'm sure a lot of people started on their interest in the Comanche specifically. So what we do usually is we'll wait 5-10 minutes and let everybody come on in here. So we'll kind of preface what we're going to go over tonight. The Great Raid happened in 1840. We talked about an 1840 story this morning, and as far as I can figure out, it wasn't part of the Great Raid, but we got some questions about the Great Raid this morning. So I thought, well, we'll talk about that tonight. Now, the actual Great Raid is a project of Buffalo Hump specifically, who is a famous Comanche chief. We've talked about before how Comanche names are often steeped in euphemism. So Buffalo Hump does not mean Buffalo Hump. It's a euphemism for an election that won't go down. Let's say that. I think we've been getting away with that, so that's fine. But he had a vision. He had a dream one night, not long after, I believe 5 months after the Council House fight in San Antonio, where a hostage return, a negotiation went south in a hurry, let's say, and the streets of San Antonio devolved into a running hand-to-hand fight between the Texas civilians and the Texas Rangers and the Comanche that had come in to exchange hostages. It was a bad scene, and the Comanches incurred a lot of casualties, a lot of KIA. The settlers were incensed at the conditions of the captives that the Comanche brought in. So it was the beginning of a whole thing, right? Oh, Mike Holtz, a $10 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Hope practice went well today. Empire is an awesome book. Knocked it out over 2 days, audio style, while humping 20 yards of mulch in the yard. That's a lot, dude. Shout out to OG HOKC members, Bama, Nick, etc. Everyone have a great Christmas. Thank you very much, Mike. Yeah, hope everyone has a great Christmas. We're going to be, I'll be around, I think, all the way through Christmas. I can't do a Christmas night stream. I can't do a Christmas Eve night stream, but the rest of the time we'll be right on schedule. So if you're bored or just want to get away for a second, you'll be able to come hang out with us. Is that a Buffalo Hump, or are you just happy to see me? Well, not. You have to ask somebody else, Jake Skywalker. Bama, good to see you. Nick Citron, good to see you. Oh, wow, $4 to $5. Sorry, guys. It shows me like in 99s, but I get it. It's a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, LW208. Thank you so much. That makes this possible, guys, because either I got to be doing this or I got to be writing other scripts. So it's thank you very much. Get on to the story, says Brandon Lawless. We'll see. We'll get there eventually. Empire of the Summer Moon. It's fantastic, says Nitz Citron. Yes, it's can't go without it. Fresh scalps for Christmas. Well, I don't know about that. But the Great Raid is a project of Buffalo. Easy, Brandon. Easy. All right, okay. The Great Raid is a project of Buffalo Hump, who kind of saw this as a retributive action. He had a vision that said, we're going to drive the white settlers into the ocean. Organized a big raid that took along hundreds of warriors and took along a whole village's worth of people They were going to go all the way to Matagorda Bay, which is kind of southeastern Texas, a little southwest of Houston, um, and rid the country of the interlopers. Um, it happened largely, and we're going to talk about the first. We're going to talk about the first half of that, up from the time that they left their camp until the Linnville Raid. And the Linnville Raid is a crazy story by most people's uh, a crazy story that kind of goes outside the bounds of most people's imagination. They don't often imagine the Comanche and beaches and oceanfront, right? So this is a unique thing in Texas history, and it resulted in a really crazy spectacle where you ended up with Comanche warriors wearing top hats and carrying parasols and uh, you know, wafting long ribbons, long red ribbons, and wearing blue coats backwards, all kinds of crazy stuff that you would just, it would be like a psychedelic thing to see almost, you know, like to see all these warriors wearing Western clothing and wearing it wrong, like just wearing it backwards or whatever, and having no concept of really gender norms for the stuff that they're taking. So parasols on really tough warriors, like these lace umbrellas, right? It was just a whole scene. It was a crazy thing. They drove most of the town into the ocean. KIA a bunch of people, drove most of the rest of the survivors onto sailboats in the bay, and then the town of Linnville, which was like an important port city, is no more today. That was it. They just drove the town out of existence. So, and that's really just the first half. That's like kind of after the Linnville raid. It's like then things really got crazy. So we're going to talk up to that point, and then we'll talk about the rest in another stream. Let's see. I'm gonna check the chat real quick. What are we at? Almost 10 minutes. Let's give it another couple minutes and we'll let everybody roll in here. Brandon Lawless says, "Go dogs, sick 'em." Let's see. Nice to be here, Armenian Bishop. Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Let's see. Just checking the chat real quick. We got what, almost 30 people in here. Give it a couple more minutes. I hate to jump in and let everybody, people not know where we're at. Let's go over where we are real quick, though, so we have some idea of the geography that we're working with. Let me pull this back. The way that Wikipedia does maps is so weird. So we'll give you an idea of where Linnville is. Pull this up real quick. A lot of times it's a couple seconds, it seems like, before our screen sharing is popping up. So give me a one in the chat if you can see it. Josh McAllister, what's up, dude? This is your topic. Tempest Fugate. Oh, what's up, man? This is your first time here? Coming, cooking some deer and having a drink, listening to the best stream online. What's up, man? Awesome. I'm jealous. So we are down here in the southeast of Texas on the Matagorda Bay. You can see Linnville is now listed as a ghost town, and we're going to get to the story behind why. Let me pull up I don't love this map, but it would help to see it. Let's see. Linnville Raid. There we go. Okay. So this, I'll give you a rough approximation of where the raid came from and where Linnville is or was. Isn't that weird 19th century drawing? But I think we can make it work. So the actual first attack that we're going to talk about happened in Victoria, Texas, right here. We are about, I'm not great with miles, but about a 2-hour drive southwest from San Antonio. Victoria is right here. The Comanche have come down on kind of following the Guadalupe River all the way from really the northern parts of Texas. They've got a big conglomeration, a big combined force. They brought their women, they brought their children. They've just brought, it's a whole like traveling circus of death experience. So it is a wild scene before it even gets to Victoria. On August 6th of 1840 at 4 p.m., they hit Victoria. And that's really the first town in the area, the first major settlement that they hit. And they just take it over. Everything's burned. Captives are taken. Fighting age men are KIA. It is just a classic Comanche raid. but with a lot more warriors than usual, and all on a very specific mission. That they're not here to just steal horses. They're not here just to drive this settlement back a little farther from the frontier. They are here to drive all of the settlers out of Texas. This is what is the chapter name? Dream Visions and the Apocalypse is a great chapter name for this story because it is a very apocalyptic situation in the Comanches' view. Let's see. We got enough people in here to continue with the story. All right, so that just gives us an idea of how things get rolling. So Buffalo Hump has this vision after everybody's had the fiasco of the council house fight, which was a tragedy on both sides and a real flashpoint for the um, Texas Comanche War from there on out. The Comanche were much aggrieved at having lost several of their people and seen several of their women and children being taken hostage or taken prisoner by the Texans in the council house fight. The Texans were much aggrieved at the condition of Matilda Lockhart and several other young teenage captives that the Comanche had brought in for this hostage negotiation peace treaty meeting in San Antonio. When the Texans saw the conditions of her, supposedly with her nose removed, there's some contention there, but I think she was um, mutilated in some way. In either case, uh, all hell breaks loose. And after the dust from the council house fight settles, the Comanche have retreated back up to northern central Texas. This is an exclusive, mostly almost exclusively band of Penateca. Um, from there, the Comanche are kind of licking their wounds for a while, about 5 6 months, about 5 months in to be exact. Um, and just this real sense of desperation is taking hold after the council house fight. They've had a really tough stretch through the 1830s. They've been decimated by smallpox, as have the Kiowa, the Cheyenne, the Arapaho, the Lakota. It has been a rough decade for many of the tribes dealing with smallpox. And they are just confused as to how things could have gotten so bad so quickly. And at the very everyone's morale is at the lowest when Buffalo Hump supposedly wakes up from a sleep or from his sleep and says, "I've had a vision, and we're going to band together and head south and drive all these settlers, be they Mexican or white or what have you, out of Texas entirely. This is ours. This is our land, and we've had enough of this. We're taking over again. We're taking back what's ours." Um, so then, yes, they head south, and on August 6th, 1840, they slam into Victoria. Victoria takes the first hit here. Uh, the whole town is decimated. Victoria still exists, so they didn't drive Victoria into extinction, but it's a horror show. A horror show. They catch them virtually completely off guard. Um, they circle the town, and they spend a couple hours just kind of intermittently attacking and circling the town, which would be a terrifying thing in and of itself. And eventually they slam into the town. The whole thing is razed. Not literally everyone is KIA'd, but the most of the fighting age men are. The women and children are largely taken captive, and any horse that they can get, they're taking. They got this. That's going to be a problem in the future. They're going to take so much stuff and so many horses that they're going to have a hard time heading back. So this pattern is already taking hold, and Buffalo Hump is the leader here, right? It's his idea, so he is the leader, at least nominally, of this party. But even in Victoria, things get pretty hairy pretty quick, and Comanche warriors are used to operating pretty autonomously. And as they see more and more loot for the picking, they see more and more opportunity to climb up the social ladder through their own deeds, and they're less and less inclined to listen to the exact instructions of Buffalo Hump. So they're not really considering a return trip or anything like that. They're not terribly concerned with logistics. It's just take what you can, and whatever you can't take, livestock included, cows, sheep, goats, whatever, unalive it, pile it up, and burn it. And we're moving on to the next place. And you can see here, let's go back to our screen share. It is about 2 days of travel. Yeah, 2 days of travel, really a day worth of travel because they hit Victoria on the 6th. and they head southeast. Yeah, let me pull up the map real quick so everybody can. So we hit, cool. We hit Victoria here, and now they're pretty much gonna, it's a touch southeast, but it's pretty much due south. This is a bay. It's a small strip of water here, and we're gonna head south from Victoria. And there's a bunch of little settlements in here. It's not just all blank shoreline and flat prairie. So there's settlements in there, and they're all just taken out. They're just trampled underfoot. Um, Virtually anything in between Victoria and Linnville is taken out. On the 8th, they arrive at the outskirts of Linnville. Seems like they surprised the residents of Linnville too. It seemed like they didn't. I guess they only had a day's worth of advance, but it sounds like they were kind of caught off guard because there was a lot of sailboats in the bay, and people saw the Comanche and fled to those. And there was the Comanche just rolled into town, and they were cutting people down in the shallow waters. It is most notably Major H.O. Watts, who's the customs inspector, was cut down like in knee deep water. They're trying to flee and fight back at the same time. And a bunch of these guys just get cut down in this kind of brackish water of the bay, right? So that's just a whole horrifying scene in and of itself. As this is unfolding, the people that can get away and haven't yet gotten to the sailboats are slogging through the water or running through the docks. It's just chaos while their loved ones are being cut down in the shallows. This goes on for I believe a number of hours, and eventually the survivors are left kind of huddling on these sailboats, and all they can do is watch while the Comanche just raid the town. Same thing. Any livestock they can't take with them, they're unaliving and setting on fire, or just unaliving and leaving it. Cows, horses, not horses, cows, sheep, goats, whatever. They supposedly, I believe it's here, that as they're circling the town, I believe they take a young black girl. It's either there or in Victoria. I got that detail mixed up. Either way, another child taken. Then they start breaking into the warehouses. It's a port city, so they've got warehouses full of all kinds of goods: the coats, the parasols, women's dresses, ribbons of all kinds. The Comanche, most native tribes really favored red, so they grab tons of red ribbons. They grab foodstuffs. They take every horse that they can. Keep in mind, they've also got prisoners now. And then once the town of Linnville is essentially razed, like they burn every building that they've already taken all the stuff. They burn all the buildings. And now they just kind of leave everyone that's in their sailboats kind of cowering in the bay. They know they're not going to try to get out into the bay and attack them there. There's no need at this point. But then you've got this big contingent of warriors who are now just growing less and less man. The bloodlust, I guess, of the Comanche warriors is just escalating and escalating, and they're taking more and more stuff, setting more and more things on fire, unaliving anyone that they can find. And pretty soon, Buffalo Hump is really starting to lose control. Like his guys are taking too much stuff. They're never going to be able to get back with this. He's going to have to travel even relatively slowly anyways, because they've got women and children with them who are kind of hanging back on the outskirts of the town at this point. But it's become more of hundreds of warriors, each on a individual glory quest rather than a big attacking force of Comanche. So it's this great big mob that's becoming less and less disciplined, and more cumbersome. So now they have to turn back, and I'll pull the map up one more time here. They are laden with all this livestock, people, uh, pots, pans, um, clothing, accessories, all kinds of things. And they have to make their way from Linnville in the classic Comanche fashion. They are heading northwest, and it's going to take them a while. They're going to drag along for quite a few days here as they make their way back up, just kind of to be west of the town of Gonzales. And they will eventually end up near present day Lockhart, Texas, where we're going to see the Battle of Plum Creek unfold, which you kind of talked about earlier this morning. But I just kind of wanted, that's really part one to Buffalo Hump's raid. I thought that would be sufficient for us to kind of break apart tonight. And either tomorrow or later in this week, we'll go to the Battle of Plum Creek and kind of the debacle that this turns into. It's such a, in the span of a couple of weeks, we see the Comanche going from thinking they are finally driving the intruders out to in complete disarray and suffering a major defeat at the Battle of Plum Creek. And they are again kind of thrown into this collective state of uncertainty. And it must have been a really apocalyptic feeling for them to think like, well, we were just on the brink of a great victory, and then it turns into a tragedy for the Comanche, a massive defeat for them. And it must have been a hair-raising time for the Comanche as well. We sometimes forget that as dangerous and as um, scary of a time as it was for the settlers, it was the same for the Comanche. They were fighting for their homeland as well. So this one, I think, just brings such a striking visual to mind, because it's like, no, what you would have seen if you saw this big contingent coming is a bunch of women, a bunch of children, a bunch of prisoners, who also, I forgot to mention, included uh, how am I blanking? Daniel Boone's granddaughter, Nancy Boone Crosby, who was taken prisoner. I think I've said she was taken prisoner in Linnville early this morning stream, guys. And if I did, my bad, because I think she was taken in Victoria or one of the settlements in between, it sounds like. So my bad on that one, my first mistake. But if you had seen this traveling, like I said, traveling circus of death, you would have seen all these women, all these children, all these animals, a big herd of hundreds of horses kind of that they're pushing along. Think of like a cattle drive, but instead of cattle, it's horses. So you're pushing this big herd along, and then you're seeing hundreds of warriors, and they have all their traditional gear, especially in 1840 Comanche warriors. You're seeing them in minimal headdresses and largely painted black. It's a very minimalistic warrior class or warrior tribe at this time. And then you're used to seeing that, and then you see these guys with bright blue coats that they're wearing backwards, and top hats, and lots of red ribbon that they're streaming everywhere, and the umbrellas, the parasols, and that's just a couple of counts. There's all kinds of crazy outfits that they had on. And then you're seeing these terrified captives, women and children. Um, it's just a scene. It's something that I think is hard to imagine, and it's good to dive a little deeper into, because it's like, I think we have a uniform view of the Old West in some cases, just kind of shaped by 1940s, 50s, 60s cinema, where, oh, we view the natives in their native garb and the settlers in their traditional Texan garb. And it's like, no, this scene would have blown anybody's mind. This was wild. And even for the Old West, it was a crazy scene and a particularly violent endeavor, even for the Comanche, because after that, if you can imagine a war party of this size really getting out of control, and it's late teens, early 20s, guys, if you can imagine that really getting out of control, you can see it turning really ugly really fast. So a I think a particularly interesting story, one that I think stands out to anyone that reads this book. And like I said, really just part one of the Great Raid of 1840, and this would end up being the largest native raid in American history. So just a massive undertaking and extraordinary loss of life, per capita, and so violent that it took a town off the map. There's just a stone monument there where Linnville used to be, a major trading city, a major trading hub, major port city, and that's just gone overnight because of these guys with stubby horses and long lances. It's a hell of a thing to imagine, for sure. So that's part one. We'll delve into part two either tomorrow or later this week. And now, if we have any questions, comments, concerns, customer support issues, let me know in the chat here. LW208 became a level 1 supporter, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're adding a lot of stuff to the members benefits now. So I think it'll be well worth your while. Thank you so much. We've seen the members really just go through the roof. So thank you to everyone that joins. That's just so appreciated. Josh McAllister, it'd be like getting beat in the last 30 seconds of a game. Yeah, yeah, for the Comanche. Yeah, that's a great analogy. Yeah, they thought they were way ahead in this game, and then the like I said, what last 30 seconds, the other team comes back and it's a pick six or something, right? And they get a 2-point conversion, and you're just like obviously pretty bummed after that. Let's see. My daughter is a descendant of Mr. Daniel Boone. Wow, there's so much genealogy in this chat. Nick Cini says a primitive Stone Age culture clashed against the modern age. Yeah, I mean, that's not far off from the truth. Stone Age people, I don't believe, would have had horses, but you know what I mean? They wouldn't have been an equestrian people per se. But otherwise, I mean, yeah, man, it's a crazy scene. And then they'd ride away with all your finest garments. Enjoy your video, says LW. Thank you very much. Thank you. Arizona Boy says the stubbiest of horses. I only say that because of the contemporary accounts. There's we talked about it before, but there's an account from either the San Antonio paper or the Houston paper that is just like it's a little racist, but they're also genuinely disappointed. They thought they were going to see this like tall, statuesque group of warriors come in, and they were like ashamed of themselves because they're just like, wait a second, these guys are probably 5'6". They're rather stocky, and they're horses. They really expected there to be the best. They had a different concept of what horse they would pick out from a herd and what they would prioritize. And obviously, their ponies or the American ponies would be shod, meaning they would have horseshoes on. The Comanche had a different paradigm. They would pick different ponies, much shorter, stubbier than what Americans were used to. So they were just like, these guys were getting our ass kicked all over Texas by these guys. There's a strong overtone of shame in the article. Let's see. Enjoy. Okay, got that. We be tiny, but we be fierce, says engineer. Yeah, they weren't tiny. They were just like a stout people, or are. Like I'm not saying anything that isn't widely confirmed and in several contemporary accounts, and it's a compliment in the end. LOL. Mike Holt says there's a San Antonio paper that wrote about the incident. It was a real yeah. Well, you know what I mean. That's got to toss that in there. At least it is by today's standards. And I mean, like, yeah, it was pushing the bounds. Josh McAllister, them Comanches would not have chased them too far, especially into the water. They'd have been, yeah, exactly. They would have been too exposed and too worried they'd miss out on looting. 100%. Imagine their excitement. Yeah, you wouldn't like if you were robbing a bank, you wouldn't chase the tellers into the water. You would just be like, okay, well, I'm going to get back to the bank. Let's see. Can you imagine them riding home all dripped out in red ribbons, looking like a bad president? And the backwards coats really gets me. Honestly, I think the thing that gets us all the most is parasols, the like white lace umbrellas, because it's like, I think if someone's coming to kill me, that's the most terrifying accessory they can have. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but that is the most terrifying thing to me. Like a dude riding towards me with a parasol with bad intentions, even with good intentions. We used to call them ponies. When did they become horses? Well, pony is like a young horse, to my understanding. Let's see. They were short and still okay. If he goes, yeah, okay, I got that. I think we're almost. Well, we got a lot of chats. Actually, I'm not caught up at all. Let's see. Seems absurd to bring the whole family, but they had to. They couldn't leave their families unprotected, right? And they had just had the council house fight, so they were going on a long trip, right? So if you're going on a cross country trip, and today you're not going to leave your family unless you have to. Let's see. I'm scrolling through the chats. I'm checking here. The stubbiest of horses. Yeah, maybe not the stubbiest, but they were different horses. Well, they were still quarter horses, but they were just not the ones that the Texans would have picked. No, a colt or a filly is a young horse. Yeah, a pony. Oh, okay. A pony is just a small horse. Okay. Not a horse expert, as everyone can probably tell. How is a parasol terrifying? Are you afraid they would hit you with it on the head? No, I mean, I'm afraid that the guy is so unconcerned with like looking terrible, with so unconcerned with looking tough that, and he doesn't, his world is so tough that he doesn't even know what the parasol is for. He's just like, oh, this looks cool. I'll just use this. Like that's a guy you should be afraid of. A saddlebred takes 5 to 7 years to mature. Yeah, I kind of knew that. Kind of. They love parasols because they were out on the open plains and no shade for sure. Does anybody know why they wore the jackets backwards? I've never been able to figure that out other than they just thought it looked good and was more comfortable for them that way. Let's see. They love the parasols. We got that. How is a parasol terrifying? Got that. Tons of chats, guys. I'm trying to catch up. If I missed your chat, just put it back in the bottom of the chat here. If you want to really make sure I see it, yeah, put like a super chat. Give me hit a $2 super chat and I'll see it for sure. Whatever the cheapest one is. Otherwise, it is a wall of text, guys. So I'm trying. Let's see. I'm looking for questions. Y'all seen Comanche Moon? I've seen parts of it. Has anybody else seen it? That's a good one. Let me ask that. Have you seen Comanche Moon? Because like I said, I've only seen parts of it. I'd be down to put that on a movie night, though. Let's see. You can't really start breaking a colt. I'm sorry, you can't. Yeah, well, you can't start breaking a horse until they're at least 2 years old at the minimum. Yeah, I relatively knew that. I knew they had to be a couple of years old. Let's see. Brandini says, my father and I are both Comanche descendants, and yes, we are 5'6". Fair enough, man. I'm Irish, so we're not known for being terribly tall either. I've seen it 6 times at least. Wow. I'm pretty sure I haven't seen it all the way through. Risa says, on the searchers, John Wayne encountered some of these types with parasols. True. Backwards coats, top hats, etc., while seeking Ethan's relatives. Yeah, they do a really good job of putting in little details like that to kind of sneak in other stories. In the Comancheros, they have Iron Jacket with the Spanish breastplate, who isn't like who isn't a main character in the story, but they sneak him in, you know? And I think that's a great. I really like that they do that because at least for our metric here, it does pique the viewer's interest and like, well, why is that guy wearing a Spanish plate of armor? You know, and then you'll go look it up. Let's see. Scottish, Irish, and Muskogee. That's a noble mix. Let's see. I love the details when I was a kid. Yeah, that's probably, I think that's the greatest Western of all time, The Searchers, in my humble opinion. Let's see. I'm scrolling through here. Any more questions on the Linnville Raid or on the Great Raid? We're going to kind of, like I said, this is part 1. If you have any more questions on the actual totality of the raid, all questions on the Council House fight. Our next episode is going to be on Texas Rangers versus the Comanche. So any questions on any of those battles? Let's see. When are you going to email me so I can get one of those prints? Oh, Josh. Yeah. Oh, I think Josh sent me some more. Let's see. Might have sent me some more. Let me look at the questions real quick and then I'll pull that up. Because I'm pretty sure he sent me some more artwork. Yes, he did. Oh, very cool, man. I've gotten tons of emails, so I just haven't opened this one yet. Dude, awesome. Brandon, what would you have done if you were there to witness the raid? Oh man, like, I mean, in all seriousness, like you got to try and make sure your family gets on the sailboats. You know what I mean? You got to at least try and buy them some time. But after that's done, I'm getting on the sailboat myself. Let's see. Was it commonplace for Rangers to recruit from prisons? No, not that I'm aware of. They had a rough reputation, but um, I mean, a lot of those guys had rough backgrounds. A lot of them were from military families, but a big point was that you had to be willing to provide able to provide $100 horse. But they didn't do background checks, but they didn't go to the prisons and pull guys out of there. At least not to my knowledge. Let's see. Let's see. Risa says no logos or images on the coats. They didn't button them. Yeah, right. They didn't button them. They just kind of like slid into it with it backwards instead of covering their back like an apron would cover or arm. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Risa is they didn't really use like breastplates, like the bone breastplates, like the Lakota, but that would make more sense to them. Is like have this thing in the front. Comanche Moon is my second favorite movie after Lonesome Dove, says Bamadiana. Very cool. All right, well, we can put that in a movie night. You missed my crucial chat, says Nick Sweeney, but now you'll never know it because I don't chew my cabbage twice. Your crucial chat. Let me see. We used to call them ponies when they become horses. I think we got that. That's like kisses from Man Bear Pig. Creepy, creepy. I hope, is that the one that I missed? The Man Bear Pig one? Let's see, did you know that early Texas Rangers enforced standardization of their weapons? Oh, if they did, was it more like bring your own rifles and bullets? I think in the earliest iterations, yes. And then when they got to the Colt revolvers, that became more standardized. But I believe like your long gun would be kind of whatever you provided yourself. What kind of cheese did Native Americans prefer to use during their crackers and wine social events? Asks Surrender Monkey. Probably that like uh, buffalo yogurt that we talked about, where they would cut open a nursing calf's stomach and squeeze the gallbladder bile into it. Probably something like that. Let's see. Risa. Dangle it. I don't know what that means. Comanche Moon is good, but I believe Dead Man's Walk is the best of the series. Is that Larry McMurtry? Scanning through here. Okay, we got that. Yeah, keep hitting me with Ranger, Comanche questions. Any questions about the raid? Primitive versus more modern. Let's see here. I'm scanning back through the chat. Let me see. Comanche Moon is excellent, says Josh McAllister. We've got a 47% of you have seen it. 50. Now we're at 50-50 on the dot. All right, we can add it to the movie list then. Hot take here, says Arizona Boy, but after much thought, I have come to conclude that the tribes of America were very similar to the tribes of the steppe of Asia. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I don't even know that that's that hot of a take, man. That's pretty common, a pretty common sentiment. Do we know casualties of the raid? I haven't seen an exact number. Let me look real quick. Anything in the book, it's saying that it's just saying many. And I haven't gotten an exact number of the population of Linnville either. So I don't know what the percentage is. There's a more detailed account of the Victoria raid, really. It says in the Victoria raid, they left 13 corpses. But I don't see a final count on the Linnville raid. Sorry, I'm looking at the same time. I'm not seeing it. Let's look it up. Some of these stories are a little frustrating with their lack of total detail, just in general, not in Empire of the Summer Moon. Linnville raid number killed. 23 settlers are documented to have been unalived to the Victoria Linnville raid. So it's This is talking about the Victoria Linnville raid, so I think it's encompassing both. So if 13 people were unalived in Victoria, it looks like another 10 would have been unalived in Linnville. Let's see. Da-da-da-da. We've got a lot of talk about Comanche Moon. Really, almost 60% of you have not seen it, so that's interesting. And I count myself among those. Do we know the casualties? Okay, we got that. We're looking at about 10 in Linnville, 13 in Victoria. Gotta watch them all. Okay. Looking for questions. Looking for questions. Okay, we got that. I think I've answered the ones that have come up so far. Okay. We're ahead of the game. Usually I'm playing catch up here. They were busted when they got away from town, says Bamadiana. Yeah, they really started to fall apart pretty quickly. They became looser and looser, less and less disciplined. Let's see. What master nations do you not partake in a second time? What master nations do you not partake in a second time? I don't know what that means, Risa. Josh McAllister says Google says 23 as far as I can find. But Google, yes, but Google is referring to Linnville and Victoria combined, it looks like, as one incident. And SE Gwyn lists 13, excuse me, I get the hiccups, people unalived in the Victoria raid. So it looks like to round that 23 out, we'd have 10 people unalived in Linnville. I'm surprised the casualties were that low. Yeah, but these towns are very small. I mean, if you think about like a small town today having 10 people unalived and then several more taken prisoner, it would be like a major blow. Let's see. Lonesome Dove miniseries. There's no telling how many people were killed on the trip up to Victoria and afterwards. Right. And before, like they hit Victoria, and it sounds like they spent the 7th of August because they hit Victoria on the 6th. And so late into the 6th and the 7th, and then part of the 8th, they were coming down from Victoria to Linnville and hitting every little settlement that they could find in between those two cities. So yeah, we don't really know. Probably several more. They were all spread out to the settlers and settlements and such. Yeah, there's a blank spot on the map, but there would be a bunch of smaller settlements, homesteads, etc., between Victoria and Linnville. Did you get a chance to check out the DJ Peach Cobbler? No, I remember you mentioning that though. I'll write it down again. My notes get pretty full here, so let's see. The fort you were talking about last night. Well, we were talking about, you mean this morning, Fort Kinney? I was trying to corroborate that, but I didn't see anything saying, I mean, maybe because that's pretty far north. It's still, Brushy Creek would be another 50 miles or so northwest of Lockhart. And I forget, I'd have to check the time frame on when that happened because we weren't able to piece that together. I believe, dude, it does say, okay. Yeah, it must have been because it says August. Yeah, okay. But it doesn't sound like they don't mention it as being a particularly large force of Comanche. So I'm guessing that's a splinter force because it's still, that would be after the Battle of Plum Creek. So I guess on their way northwest, it makes sense because it's northwest of Lockhart, but it must have been like a splinter force because none of the accounts say, oh, it was this hundreds of warriors. It wasn't a force of hundreds of warriors. It sounds like it was a couple dozen. But no, you made that point this morning, and I was like, to be fair, I said, I don't know, but I didn't take a lot of time to corroborate that between then, this morning, and now. I was just delving into the particulars of the Linnville raid. But dude, sounds like this like force splintered off from the main contingent of Buffalo Humps guys. Let's see. Brandon, you are too busy. Everybody's busy this time of year. They would have spread out into smaller parties. No, for sure. And as they went northwest, they would splinter further and further. So yeah, I fully agree. This must have been a smaller contingent of that larger force. Because yes, they would fractalize as they got further and further northwest. Like as soon as they started hitting the rolling prairies and not far north of Austin, maybe before then, it sounds like they would split into smaller and smaller groups because it's harder and harder to find them. Let's see. We could have solved the historical mystery. It doesn't mention that in Indian depredations in Texas. So at least, yes, we independently pieced that together, or you did, Mr. McAllister. So I'm just concurring with you. Let's see. Take a break and relax sometime, says Bamadiana. Oh, I will. This is fun, anyways. And this one's not going to go terribly long because I do have to like keep this stream like reasonably short because I got to go. I'm dealing with our next episode too, and like the timing, I get it. The timing seems weird for our episodes, but our editor is in Egypt, so I think I forget what time it is over there, but it would be I think in the middle of the night there. But the editing schedule gets a little unorthodox, I could say. We could have solved. Okay, we got that. Nick Sweeney says, okay, he's saying something in the chat to Mr. Citron. Arizona Boy says, Brandon's busy entertaining the masses. Trying to. Let's see. I've been holding Susie Dog and crying. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Bamadiana. She stopped eating completely 24 hours ago. Oh, well, keep on pushing, though. Sometimes they get better. Sometimes they just have a bad day. I totally get it. I've been there more than once. So we're pulling for you, Bamadiana, and we're pulling for Susie Dog as well. They were likely, Josh McAllister says, they most likely would have been operating on a tribe by tribe, band by band. Yeah, I think even smaller than that to really pick it apart. It would probably be a smaller band of, my guess is younger guys, but yeah, probably like a smaller group within the band of Pinateca. Was Peta Nakona on this raid? I don't have anything to confirm that. He could have been. Let me look up Peta Nakona. So I get so like into one subject, I mix the dates up of like who was born when. Nakona. Yeah, so he would have been about 20. Yeah, he could conceivably be on the raid. Had to be involved. Yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't have been. Yeah, I had to check like his date of birth, but he would have been 1920, so almost for sure. Unless he was too young. Yeah, for sure, Josh McAllister. But if he's 19 or 20, he's going to be going. Unless like, yeah, could he be injured or something? For sure. But it's a safe assumption that he was involved. Let's see. Peter had to be involved. Yeah, I would agree with that. Let's see. And as it would, several other famous guys. They most likely would have been. Okay, we got that. Josh McAllister says, prayer for Susie Dog. Yeah, exactly. We're all praying for you. That's it's tough. I get it. But it ain't over till it's over is what I would say. That's how I've approached it. Can you explain the concept of counting coup? Yeah, sure. It is basically a way to show that you need a witness for it, but you'd have some kind of coup stick. And the shorter it was, the more renowned you'd get for touching your enemy. But it means just getting close enough to your enemy to touch them. And it's kind of more of an insult than actually injuring or killing them because it means I could have, and I chose not to. It's more common among the tribes a little bit further north. The Comanche didn't seem terribly concerned with it. I think it's maybe we kind of undersell it because it was a very real thing. But I think it's oversold by a lot of mainstream history accounts as like, oh, this is all that intertribal warfare was. It was just the, non-lethal counting of coup. It's like, no, it certainly wasn't. There was times when the raiding was like, yeah, more about counting coup and stealing horses. And there were times when it was about extermination. So Let's see. Okay, we got that. Let's see. Different tribes had different rules for counting coup. Yeah, true. And everybody, you had to have like a witness to it. You obviously couldn't come back and say like, "Oh, guys, it counted a bunch of coup." Bring back coup counting as a TikTok trend, says Red Diesel. That could go wrong in a hurry. Comanche counted coup on Indians. Yeah, like it's not like they didn't do it. It's just like they weren't as into it. It seems like as Cheyenne, Lakota. And let me know what you think, Josh McAllister. But I think like a lot of not even contemporary, but a lot of contemporary or a lot of modern historians like oversell the counting of coup sometimes. Like they say, oh, that's all the intertribal warfare was. It's like, no, it wasn't all the intertribal warfare was. A mechanism of restraint or a form of honor, says Brandini. Both. And there was a lot of pragmatism behind it. Like they weren't always out to kill everything. That can be oversold too. And it was a way for all of this is a lot of this is a way for young men to gain honor. So it's a way to do that, non-lethally. Let's see. Elite Supergirl. Was the coup stick real? Yeah, the coup stick was real. And you could use things like a bow or an arrow or some, you just had to touch that. You could use your hand. Let's see. Traditionally, Josh McAllister is chiming in here. Traditionally, a war party would have a dance, and each warrior would stand in the circle, recount his actions, and deeds, and another man would stand to vouch for seeing it. True, yeah, and that's true, absolutely true with the Comanche. Like they are kind of painted as, I think they're kind of overpainted as brutes sometimes, and they loved singing, they loved dancing, they loved telling their deeds in song. They all had their own personal war song that'd be given to them when they were young. Let's see. Honestly, we should bring that tradition back. I guess we could have like hip hop beats or something. Let's see. Josh McAllister said they'd use long willow branches, sticks. They could use anything. And some people would have like their own coup sticks. But I just haven't read as many accounts further south on the plains of coup being as big of a thing. It's like the Congressional Medal of Honor, says Nick Citrone. It has to be witnessed. Yeah, kind of like that. Maybe it's like not as prestigious as that award, even within the context of the tribe, but it was social mobility. It was social capital. Because you're standing within a tribe, your ability to get a wife, your ability to improve your life was directly related to your prowess and your skill as a hunter and as a warrior. So in order to move up at all, you needed to demonstrate your bravery again and again and again. Are there any accounts documenting Comanche buffalo hunts? Like first person accounts for Comanche buffalo hunts? Not off the top of my head. There very well might be. I could look that up. Let's see. First-hand accounts of Comanche buffalo hunt. Because I don't want to tell you no, and then there in fact are. But off the top of my head, first-hand accounts, the border and the buffalo. Let's take a look at this. So I'll pen this. I haven't read this, so I can't vouch for this. Let me see if I can find the Amazon link too. Border and the buffalo. I will read this now, though. That's a good question. So I'm not vouching for this book because I haven't read it. But if you are interested in this, I'm going to post it for y'all. I'm going to get myself a copy and we can talk about it at a later date after I've read it. I'm pinning this the link for that book at the top of the chat there. Let's see. Us Indians, we love to sing, dance, joke, party. Yeah, for sure. Like that's kind of underestimated. I think the Comanche especially did. They knew how to have a good time, and they sang all the time. They danced all the time. They had like really cool hair. Bad Medicine and Good Tales of the Kiowa by W.S. Nye. I haven't read that either. There's so many people ask if I'm going to run out of stories. And it's like, you guys, there's so many books. Let's see. Tales of the Kiowa. Cool. Bad Medicine and Good Medicine and Good. I'm going to look that up later so I can leave this chat or leave this link up, but I'll get to it. Let's see. Song is very important to us, says Josh McAllister. Yeah, I think it's really underrated. And it's not like always, there are like flutes and everything, there are war drums, but it's a lot of times it's just a cappella. It's like guys like singing their song and they'll have personal songs. It's a cool concept, man. Um, Happy Cappy, good to see you. There's a couple things in the chat that I'm not sure about. I'm just not sure what they're referring to. Let's see. I'm looking, guys. I'm looking. Had a hiccup, guys. Give me a one in chat if you can make sure you can see me. We should be good though. It's always around 9 o'clock. Let's see. Do you know how to ride a horse? If you're asking me, yeah, I can ride. I'm not great, but I grew up on a ranch, so I can do it. I can saddle a horse. I can ride. But compared to like a real cowboy, no. Let's see. But I can do it. Yeah, like, yes. Don't feel bad. I'm late all the time since I started. Oh, yeah. How's the job going, Arizona boy? Fill us in. Let's see. I'm looking for more questions. Anything on the Comanche, the Rangers, the Linnville Raid. And we don't have an episode yet on the Linnville Raid. So one is coming. That's one that I haven't made an episode out of somehow. It fits perfectly for an episode, but just haven't gotten to it yet. I've always said like, oh, next week. And now here we are years later. So an episode is coming. All right. I'm looking for questions. If we have any questions, I'm scanning and looking for them. We have a lot of inter-chat dialogue, which I like to see. We've become a little family here. That's fantastic. I can horseback ride with the saddle, says Happy Cappy. It's an essential skill. We're Americans. Brandon, it was going good till I got pulled into the office and cussed out by the assistant manager because apparently I'm not supposed to talk to customers yet. Well, tell her to STFU, man. You know what I mean? Say, lady, STFU. That sucks, though, man. I've been there before, though. If you knew how many assistant managers I've been chewed out by, you'd blush. Let's see. I'm looking here, making sure I didn't miss anything. I think I am actually caught up. I grew up with horses, says Josh McAllister. My grandpa had me on a horse before I could walk. Yeah, I just grew up on a ranch, so they actually brought in this like 18-year-old horse we bought from down the road, and so I got to ride him that was my first starter horse, a good learning horse named Pride. FFS Arizona, tell her to get a grip. Yeah, for sure. Tell her to chill out, Arizona. I've been fired from every job I didn't quit, says Nick Sweeney. Understandable. Arizona boy says it rubbed me the wrong way, something fierce, so I'm on the hunt for something else. Yeah, man. Don't put up with that if you don't have to. But it's easier to find a job when you have a job. It's easier to get a girlfriend when you have a girlfriend. It's easier to find a job when you have a job. Let's see here. I grew up. Okay, we got that. I think we're coming up. We almost had an hour. So we'll go a little bit longer, and then I got to hop back on and talk to the editor real quick because I don't want to make, if I don't get this episode out before Christmas, like holidays, guys, oh yeah, Arizona boy. One thing I can tell you, and this, you got to take everything with a grain of salt, but don't release episodes on actual holidays because everyone's busy, so you got to get them out the day before or the day after a holiday. I've learned that. Can I get a brief overview of the raid? Oh, Brandini says, yeah. So, I don't know if this isn't the best map, to be honest. It was helpful on the small scale, but let me bring up this map real quick. It's easier to show you with a map. But in 1840, it's right after the Council House fight, which is a big to-do in San Antonio, where it was a big melee between the Comanche and the Texans over a botched hostage exchange. And the Comanche had retreated back north to the plains and were really in kind of a state of disarray and licking their wounds, so to speak. And one of their essentially chiefs named Buffalo Hump awoke from a dream, and he said, "You guys, I figured it out. We're going to head south. We're going to drive all the settlers out of Texas. We're going to drive them into the ocean." So they get everyone together, all these bands of Comanche and some Kiowa, and they don't want to leave their wives and children on the plains. So they bring their wives and children with them. So there's hundreds, possibly thousands of Comanche moving south from northern central Texas all the way down to Matagorda Bay. And if you're not familiar, we'll show you here. Linnville Raid. So it's southeast Texas. Oh, wow, that's not the map that I wanted. You know what? Dang it. I had the perfect map pulled up and then I lost it. How could that happen? Well, I can use this. Okay. Let me share this real quick. Just to give her a brief overview, guys, real quick. Because I don't want you to be left out. Oops. All right, make sure we can see it here. Cool. So we had Buffalo Hump's party leave from somewhere up here on the Balcones Escarpment, the stepped plains of Texas, and head down southeast to southeast Texas. And let's see if I can zoom in a little farther. And I'm trying to find Victoria. Okay. So they come kind of keeping along the Guadalupe River, and they smash into Victoria, Texas on August 6th of 1840. They basically raise that town. Anybody that they can take out, that they find, they take out. We've 13 people we've determined were unalived there, many more taken prisoner. All the livestock they couldn't take with them was unalived. Most of the buildings burned for most of the afternoon into the early evening. Then they take off south again and head. Is Linnville on this map? This might be a newer one. All right, I'm going to go to the second map here because this is a little bit more zoomed in. So make sure that's showing here. Okay, cool. So they take off from Victoria right here on the kind of the inner reaches of the Matagorda Bay, and then head south to Linnville, and they hit Linnville on August 8th, and they raid the warehouses. They drive the citizenry, many people into the bay, and many more people into sailboats where they have to hide in the bay. They cut several people down in the shallow waters and then raid all the warehouses. It's a port city, so it's got warehouses full of clothing and food and all manner of accessories that they take. So on their return back to the northwest, you see this contingent of hundreds of Comanche warriors in top hats and backwards coats and with parasols and long streams of red ribbon. It would just be a total scene. And in combination with that, terrified prisoners, along with their wives and families, along with a massive herd of horses. So it would just be a crazy scene. And that's the first half of what's known as the Great Raid of 1840. And in a later stream, sometime this week, we're going to cover the second half, which ends, or it kind of peaks at the Battle of Plum Creek, which is a big turning point in Texas history between the Rangers and the Comanche. So we'll get to that in our next episode, or at least very soon. But that's a general summation of it. in case you got here late. Close that out. So if you have any questions on that quick summary, let me know if I left something out. Let's see. Then what do we got here? We'll give it a couple more minutes here and then we'll call it a night. We did a long one last night anyways, but want to make sure this episode gets done. December is busy for YouTube, guys. Thank you again, Brandon, says Risa. Yeah, absolutely. Good to see you here, Risa. We've been wondering where you were. Brandini Council House Brothers bothers me too. The Texans did not understand. They had no control of what the other Comanche tribes did. Oh, yeah. The Comanche, they thought they were dealing with a singular entity. So they thought, well, we made a deal with the Comanche, like we should be able to kind of mitigate this war. We should be able to kind of bring it to a deal. We should be able to figure out a peace deal, but they didn't understand the Comanche were decentralized. That was a big misunderstanding throughout centuries of dealing with the tribes. They'd say, well, we have a deal with the Comanche. And it's like, no, you have a deal with the Penteteca, or maybe you have a deal with this small contingent of the Penteteca. But the Comanche as a whole, you don't have a deal with the Cotzoteca. You don't have a deal with the Yamparica. You don't have a deal with, especially the Quahati. I'm leaving out a couple of the sub bands, but yes, they didn't understand decentralization as a concept. It seems like, because that they took great offense and thought the Comanche were breaking their peace deal, when in fact it was like, well, you didn't have a deal with this particular band of Comanche. It's very, very hard for the settlers to understand, or the Texians to understand. Oh, before we get out of here too, let me check the chat one more time. But I want to show you all Josh McAllister's work. Let me know if that's cool with you, Josh McAllister, because I don't want to show your stuff if you're not cool with it. Or if, I know you were cool with it last time, but I don't want to show stuff that you're waiting to release. You know what I mean? PSA part 2 of Kel's Nichols story. Oh, is that your next video, Arizona boy? I keep trying to post a link there. I'm gonna have to go to my email to find that too. Give me a second, because I have Josh's stuff pulled up right now too. Arizona boy. I'm gonna try to find both you guys' stuff here before we get out of here. Okay. Let's see. Josh McAllister just sent you some. All right, cool. Let me see how I want to do this here. I'm going to put up the link to Arizona Boy's channel. That's going to be in the top of the chat. And then we're going to look at Josh McAllister's artwork, which I think you guys will enjoy. And Josh, do we have a link to purchase, a website, anything like that? Let's see, pin message. All right, cool. End of this poll. 64% of you have not seen Comanche Moon. Okay, and we're going to put that on the movie night list. All right, let's see. We got the okay from Josh McAllister. So check this out, guys. This is the next batch that Josh has sent me. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything here. Okay. So let's take a look at these. A talented man. This is humbling how much talent we have in the chat. McAllister artwork. Okay. So check this out, guys. Let us know who each of these characters are, Josh. I don't want to guess. I don't want to hazard a guess and get it wrong. But very cool. I don't know what style this is, but very cool, man. I dig it. We need to get, I think we talked about it last time, but we can get some of these in the background. I'm going to have a whole studio set up. So let's see. Thank you to everyone. Yeah, everybody go check out, subscribe to Arizona Boy's channel. Give him a view, give him a subscription. Doesn't cost you anything and really helps his channel out. Did the Comanche make any adaptations in their equipment fighting style during their times fighting the Texas Rangers? I'm wondering if they tried to counter the Rangers' upgrades. Yeah, they acquired all the firearms they could. They acquired the Walker Colt revolver as soon as they could. They started making more and more alliances with the Cheyenne and tribes to the north, the Arapaho to some degree, and they would adopt a lot more headdresses and a lot more accessories than as they melded with other tribes or uh, you know uh, got along with other tribes. But yeah, anything that they could get, repeating rifles, Winchesters, Colt Walker Colt revolvers, they would use it too. Let's see. Their tactics specifically, I think they remain pretty much the same. Oh no, Josh says they changed them drastically. But they're still kind of hit and run. I'd be willing to budge on that though. Oh yeah, and maybe you told me who this is here. It's in the email. That's an Arapaho. Okay, cool, cool. I see. Okay, all right. Let me scroll through these guys. There's a couple of them here. A collection. What are we looking at here? Is this one tribe or several people? I'm asking Josh like four things at the same time. Let me know who the paintings are first, Josh, and then we'll get into the tactics. Oh yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that. They would charge in smaller parties and take different routes for sure, for sure. Okay, this is different tribes that we're looking at in this painting. Which tribes, can we ask? Oh, okay, this is inspired by Kiss. I like that, man. I can definitely see that. Oh wow, Red Diesel sent 10 History at the OK Corral gift memberships. Wow, thank you so much, man. That is awesome. We are putting a lot more stuff out there. I'm putting streams out for members only. We're making sure everybody gets the episodes early. Um, I'm gonna start adding more like kind of spur of the moment live streams too, so we can just talk about stuff that's of interest to us. And I'm trying to find a way to get the members a sample chapter from the book. I need to let me figure that out before the next live stream, guys, because I think I'd have to collect like an email list. I think that's the only way I can do it. But I'll collect the members' emails that would be interested in the chapter. We'll get you the sample chapter. Then we're getting merch in here in the next, probably hopefully in the next week, we'll get this set up. And I want to do like giveaways for the merch too, for like members giveaways. I have to work within YouTube's terms, but we're going to make it worth your while. So thank you very much, Red Diesel. Thank you, sir. Okay, so this is, wait, different tribes. That's inspired by Kiss. I'm like kind of putting up Arizona Boys channel, looking at Josh McAllister's paintings and thanking Red Diesel at the same time. So sorry if I'm a little discombobulated. Fantastic all the way around, though. Such a talented and generous group of people. Truly. Thank you, guys. Let's see. At Red, that was pretty cool of you. Man, yeah, seriously, right? Thank you very much, Red Diesel. That's awesome, man. The bigger we can grow the memberships, the better. And like I said, we're gonna make it worth your guys' while. I'm really, really excited, but like surprised by how many people are interested in this. So fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, got that. Okay, okay. I'm gonna go to the next painting now too. Where is okay? There we go. I got too many windows open because there's a couple more left here. Is this Iroquois, Josh? Because that's what it's ringing as Iroquois to me. We got the musket, we got the war club, the beadwork, the fringe. I like that one. That's cool, dude. And kind of looks like it could be in Grand Funk Railroad. Washing machine comes out more like washing machine. Yeah, that's how like my family says it. Washing machine, washer. Let's see. Shawnee, 1760s. Okay. Okay. Shawnee. It wasn't really that close with Iroquois, was I? I'm doing my best, though. I'm doing my best. Arizona Boy says the army is growing. The movement is working. It is, though. Yes, absolutely. HOKC Army. HOKC Army. I don't hate that. That's not bad. What's up, Space Cowboy? We've been wondering about you, man. You've probably seen Josh McAllister's work already, but he sent us some new paintings. So we're going over these. And we just had Red Diesel gift 10 memberships. We have Arizona Boy with a new video out today. It's a busy day. Okay. I'm trying to figure out who I'm looking at here. Okay. I don't know, Josh. I'm gonna have to ask you. The Mohawk is what make you think, but he could pass for Iroquois or Cherokee. You're just being nice, Josh. You're being nice, but thank you. I was way off. Oh, this is a Nez Perce? Okay, okay. Okay, I see it now. I was gonna be way off with that guess too. Okay, so I think these are awesome, man. Do you have like a point of purchase or like a website? Because I'll put it in the chat too. Shawnee from my area up here in Pennsylvania. Yeah, absolutely. We need to do more Shawnee episodes. That's a fascinating tribe and really cool. They have like a cool look. How did they make their metal bands and collar? For the Comanche, that was like hammered out copper, generally. Let's see. Arizona Boy says, "Oh no, okay, no, no, no. I'm sorry. The next Arizona Boy video drops on Wednesday, so that'll be 2 days from now. But you should go watch the videos that are up now and let me know how I'm doing. I will, Arizona Boy. I'll go check them out. I feel like your insight on my progress so far would be very much appreciated. Absolutely, man. I think you're talking to Josh from Wild West Extravaganza too, right? Dude, you'll have such a leg up on where he or I started. And Josh, really, like Josh was the first one to be doing it. He was doing it years before I was. Uh, so man, yeah, you'll have that. Hopefully it helps you out, man, because you're good at this. I just got back from Sequoia National Park. Oh, very nice, beautiful area. A little creepy, but beautiful area. You went to Donner Pass, yeah. Got hammered at Donner Pass. Those poor people. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, Donner Pass is beautiful, but it super duper creeps me out. It super duper creeps me out. I am proud of the Shawnee heritage that I have, says Bam, Indiana. It's a cool tribe, man. Not that all the tribes are cool. I'm just saying, like the Shawnee have a cool look. Um, Risa says their queen smashed settlers' heads up there in Wyoming, Pennsylvania. The rock is a monument now. I have no idea what that means. Can you elaborate on that? Because it sounds interesting, but I've just never heard of it. The Donner Party was a nightmare, says Happy Cappy. Yeah, I'm from about 90 minutes from where the Donner Party happened, and everything up there is named for the Donners, but it's like a horror story. Everyone knows it up there, and they know it in like intimate detail. It's a famous story, and it's one of those like everyone just goes like this. It's horrible. You kind of don't even talk about it that much. Well, let's see. He even watched and commented on my stuff. Oh yeah, I'll be sure to. I think I subscribe to you, but if I'm not, I'll watch, I'll comment, all that good stuff. Because that super helps, man. I've been super busy, but that's no excuse. I will watch and I will comment too. And everybody, if you go watch Arizona Boy, give him a like, give him a comment, give him a follow. It just helps so much. According to Weatherbug, Sparks, Nevada is supposed to get heavy snow on Christmas Eve. Sparks is beautiful though. I don't mind Sparks. Heavy snow though. I don't like heavy snow. Let's see. Do you have tire chains up there, Space Cowboy? Queen Esther's Rock. I've never heard of Queen Esther's Rock. Risa. Let's see. And I'm looking for if you have did you hit me up about somewhere to purchase your artwork, Josh? If you have, just let me know if you have a website or anything up yet. Give people a chance to go grab these themselves. Or if you have these up for sale, I don't know yet. I'm going to use the stories you tell as a scenario starter for wargaming. Cool, man. Right on. Let me know if I can be of any help for that. I have some friends that are into wargaming. See, if there's a dusting of snow, everything shuts down. Bama says, yeah, if there's even a little snow in Austin, everything shuts down. But we don't have the infrastructure to deal with it, you know. We are Surrender Monkey says we are having the neighbors over for dinner. It takes a sinister turn at all the Donner dinner parties. Don't have Donner dinner parties, man. Oh, just such a horrible story. And the more I look into it, Louis Keseberg, a total weirdo, total weirdo. I don't trust that guy. I don't like that guy. I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead, but you know what? You know what? All that considered, total weirdo. Glad I never met him. Let's see. Still looking. Yeah, let me know, Josh. I'm trying to find if you've said anything. I have chains, cables. Yeah, if you're not familiar with the Sierras, like they will stop you and check your tires for snow chains. I've only had to use them once. Yeah, I think I've only had to use them once. Yeah. But when you have to use them, you have to use them. Brandon said, Brandon, we don't have to worry about that guy. Who are we talking? Which guy? There's a lot going on, so I get lost pretty easily in the chat sometimes. It's going to be warm in Kentucky for Christmas. Yeah, I think it's 75 and partly cloudy all through central Texas. It doesn't really turn bad here till late January through February. If you've ever heard of South by Southwest, it's a big, huge international festival here in Austin. And it seems like every year on like Wednesday or Thursday of South by, that's when winter clears up and you'll just be like, it feels like it's hot. And then it's just summertime from then on out through October. I wouldn't doubt if he was a people consumer before the Donner Party. Kesselberg, yeah. Oh, yeah. I see. I see. Yeah, you're talking about Kesselberg. Super weirdo. You can look at his pictures. The guy's creepy. Sorry. Like I said, I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead, but a creep's a creep. Let's see. There's no such thing as a snow day anymore. They have to do online classes. Oh, that does suck. That does suck. I never thought about that. Let's see. Arizona Boy asks if we can expect a Discord thread after the New Year's. Yeah, in January we're gonna get the Discord going. I'm gonna start the Hidden History channel because it would be fun to just have this other channel where we can talk. We'll talk about stories that are mysterious in history or misunderstood, and that feeds directly into conspiracy talk. So I think for all of us conspiracy/history fans, that'll be a nice place to hang out. And really, we got what, 112,000 subscribers here. So it'd be like an infinitesimal percentage that we would need to subscribe to that channel to get that up and rolling. Speak ill of him all you want. Yeah, I mean, you know what? He's just a creepy weirdo. I don't know. It's like, I don't know what to tell him. If I met him in real life, I'd say, hello, sir, you are a creepy weirdo. And he'd have to agree with me. We got, let's see. Yeah, I'm still looking for Josh. I wonder where Josh went. Oh, there's Josh. Okay, so Josh's Instagram account is feathers underscore 1876. So let me see. I wonder if I can. I don't know if I have feathers 1876 Instagram. It's tough for me to bring it up on my laptop. Let me see. I don't know how to pin that. Okay, guys. Well, we'll figure that out on our next stream. Like maybe email me. I don't know how to get that linked up properly so everyone can click over to it. Let's figure that out before the next stream, Josh, and we'll get it up so that people can get a link to your artwork. And then I'll follow you on the History at the OK Corral account too, because I want to get your stuff out there. Let's see. Space Cowboy chains were in effect tonight. Yikes. What about the ice storms in Texas last year? Those sucked. It's not letting me share contact info in the chat. It's not. My thought is, because I'm having trouble linking it from the Instagram account on to this chat. Can you email it to me by any chance? Space Cowboy Arizona Boys channel is up at the top of the chat. It's echoes of us. It's pinned at the top. What are we at? 22 subscribers. We should have everybody over there. Just go subscribe. You guys, if you like this channel, you will like that channel. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, and they're good videos. Because really, we got to get him, and you got to get any channel to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, which that's not that hard to hit, but getting to 1,000 can be a bit of a slog. So once you're there, you can get your channel monetized. So that's where we want to get him. It's a crappy 50 degrees here. Oh, in Kentucky, right? Let's see. Facebook. What am I? I'm missing something here. I'll check my email. Can you email it to me? I'm going to click out of this real quick. Um, yeah, if you can, maybe email me the link, Josh. Oh, you guys are seeing my email. Nothing exciting in there. Let's see. I'm looking here. I'm looking. We're working on getting a Josh McAllister link up here. Yeah, we'll work something out though, Josh. We'll make sure we'll get your stuff out there and we'll get it out there consistently. And I think that fits really well with our demographic, with our HOKC Army's tastes. And another thing that should be coming in January is I'll have like a set up. So I'll have a background and pictures in the background and stuff like that. So right now I have to like set things up right before the stream and set the lights up and everything. And I want to just be able to sit down and go. So we're going to set that up. So maybe we can get some Josh McAllister art behind us. I'm going to put up the YouTube plaque because people don't know that it's the YouTube plaque is in every video intro that I've done, and it seems like nobody knows that it's there. So I got to put it up like more prominently. There's a bunch of channels called Echoes of Us. Yeah, but if you just look it up, just click the link at the top, the one that's pinned here at the top of the chat, and it'll take you right there. That's the right one. Sent to us directly from Arizona Boy himself. Oh, Arizona Boy, dude, you got 98 views, 87 views, 66 views. Man, I would have jumped off a building for these views when I just got started. And we're at 2 days apart. Yeah, you want to get one out like every 5 to 10 days. So cool, man. Looking good. And this is a little inside baseball, but Arizona Boy, let me know if shoot me an email. Let me know how you're doing your thumbnails. That's what I'd be curious about. Let me know your thumbnail process. I don't know how to share a link, but we'll figure it out. If you can email me it, then I should be able to post it in the chat. But if I can't, then we'll figure it out. We're not going to drop this. Let's see. Right in front of I would love to hear some stories on the East Coast. East Coast, is that North America, Risa? Got to change it up a little bit once in a while. Washington was all over here. Yeah, we just did a Young Washington episode probably a month ago. The Humonville Glen battle, and I'm planning on going back to the next stories in that series for Young Washington as well, because I want to kind of build up to the Young Washington movie this summer, which looks good. It looks good. I'm excited to see that. That picture painting is freaking awesome, says Nick Citron. Yeah, man. We're gonna try and figure out how we can get him to y'all. Super cool though, right? Super cool. Space Cowboy, subscribe to Arizona Boy. Right on, man. That's the way. That's super appreciated. Let me make sure I'm subscribed. Yeah, I'm subscribed. Okay, I'm gonna turn my notifications on too. I followed you. Cool, guys. All right, we're building our own little ecosystem here. We got artists and creators, and we have a welder in here, right? We got plenty of Marine vets to defend us. Got some Army guys in here that I don't see. Some of our Army guys are missing tonight. We got a Marine heavy chat, I think. Very cool art. Yeah, that's really cool, man. I like anything that combines old school and new school. I have a soft spot for. Let's see. Thanks for letting him promote his channel. Yeah, man. Anything we can do to help out. It's tough to just get going. All right, let me check my email real quick. I think Josh might have sent me a link to his Instagram. I'm guessing everyone has an Instagram because come on, guys. I don't see it yet, Josh. Let me give it a couple minutes. Let's see. Oh, see, Arizona Boy wants to get a print or two off of you. All right, cool. So we'll go another. Oh wow, we're at an hour and a half. So we'll go another couple minutes here, and then we'll wrap it up. We're going to be back tomorrow. I'm going to have to do another 1 p.m. Eastern stream tomorrow, just because it's the holidays and we're kind of having to move things around. And then, yeah, there'll still be a PM stream tomorrow too. Josh McAllister says, I hate technology. Skynet is the ruin of the world. It's a double-sided, it's a two-edged sword, certainly. I'm not terribly astute or adroit with technology, but if I didn't have technology, I wouldn't be able to do this. And all of my jobs have involved an inordinate amount of toilet scrubbing. And I mean that literally. So, you know, I'm glad to have this. Comic Dog, what's up, dude? Ben Lowry, USMC vet. Yeah, I'm telling you, like we have Elite Super Grunt in here. I feel like we got a couple other Marines, which is cool with me, guys. It's cool with me. Come on in. Let's see. We have a lot of veterans that are in our chat and subscribers, which is really cool. We actually have I remember watching we have a Jake Swag, who is a former SEAL who has a sizable channel and he follows us. And I used to listen to him on like podcasts and see him on TV. So when I saw him, I was like, oh, I know that guy. I know of him. And Hal Sparks too. I used to watch Hal Sparks when I was in high school. Let's see. Decorate the wall behind you with some art, bro. Yeah, this isn't even going to be the wall. The wall is going to be through that door in that room. And I'm going to have the wall much closer to me. It'll look like kind of like just a professional set, like a Tonight Show kind of set, kind of. Just like a desk and then a background behind me. But even for this, it's a good desk and everything, but I have to have a light turned on and I have to kind of do this setup thing before I jump onto here. And it would be a lot easier to just have a desk and click a button and go. Let's see. Let's see. But yes, that's coming. Thrifting, bro. If you're talking about the setup, kind of. I'm going to the state surplus store. They have a big state surplus store in Austin and a big UT surplus store in Austin. So I'm going to get a nice desk for a good price, nice lights and good background stuff. And I have some artwork that my grandpa did that I'm going to put up in the background too. He's a cowboy, so it's Old West artwork. Let's see, light desk, all that. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. It'll be the full, it'll be the full setup, man. It's the professional operation. We're taking it to the next level. You might have think we've peaked. We're just getting started. Let's see. Space Cowboy says, I discovered a psychedelic band a few days ago called Hinge out of England. That's a good name for an English band. All right. I'm going to check that out, dude. I can dig that. That's my vibe. I got a lot of vibes, but that's one of them. Let's see. Are you talking about Skynet? Nick Sweeney? You guys have Skynet? Is it good? I have an old mining lantern I will send you if you want. I could see that working. Let's get, I'm down for that, but let's get it set up and then you guys let me know what it needs. You can help me with the interior design. Cause I know how to use I know the basic principles of like neutral colors and like the color wheel and like what works with what. And you want to have stuff behind you in like odd numbers, right? Like ones, threes, fives, whatever. Let's see. But I'd be down for that, Bam Indiana. Let me put the regular stuff up and then see what y'all think and what we can add or take away. Let's see. And hopefully the lighting will be a little more, I don't know, a little more professional, if that's possible. All right. So we'll spend another couple minutes checking the chat real quick. And then I got to get back to getting this episode up. Like I said, we'll have the Rangers. This one will be Rangers and Comanche. Then our next one is going to be a sleep episode. I'm going to put that out like the day after Christmas. Might even have two of them that you can watch to go to sleep to. It'll just be like a black screen and fire sounds in the background because I've gotten a crazy amount of requests for that. So we'll put that out as an extra. And then it might be like I'm trying to pick a day to do this like long stream. It might be like the 27th or something. We'll do like several hours where everybody can just hang out. A mining lamp would be dope. Yeah, I like that aesthetic. I like that. I was thinking about like maybe an HOKC sign, but I'll host we'll have at least a couple channels going by We'll have one more channel going by the end of January, so I'll be using that for both of them. Let's see. I was thinking about getting like an HOKC sign and then a hidden history sign, and then just switch the signs out in the background. I got to catch up from earlier, says Risa, and I'd love the stuff around the holiday to sleep to. Great. Yeah, cool. I've just gotten a ton of requests for that, and I use those videos to fall asleep to, but they have to have the pictures taken out of them. It has to be, and you have to have, I don't know, our background music for me isn't great to sleep to. I think it's just a little twangy or something, and it kind of keeps me awake. So adding this fire sound in the background, I think we might do one with the fire sound and one with the rain sound, but we'll, um, it'll be geared towards sleeping. Let's see. You can write HOKC in cursive using rope lights. I was thinking like, well, we could custom order a sign, have like a sign built at the factory, but one for HOKC, one for the other channel. Indian Wildcat, what's up? What's up, man? Glad you made it here. A slideshow. I don't know what that means. I'll paint or carve you a sign. Really? All right, we can talk about that. Yeah, I'd be down to feature people's stuff in the background. Rope lights are cheap. I know, but I want to like put something cool together, one of those things like we need something professional looking in the background. I forgot about the conspiracy channel. I'm stoked for that. Yeah, I think you guys will like it, man. We'll talk about stuff that you guys know. And then conspiracies aren't as hard and fast history. So we can have more of a conversational exploratory vibe too, is my thought about Brandon. What about the name HOKC Rangers? I like that. I'm either down. I think it should be HOKC Rangers or HOKC Army. Man, Rangers might kind of vibe more, huh? And I was thinking about getting like stars printed, like stickers or something to have like HOKC Ranger. Your stuff is perfect for sleep, says Space Cowboy. I don't know. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? That makes me feel conflicted because it's like, well, it means it must be really boring. But no, I get what you're saying. Thank you. I think there'll be I don't know. Like I said, just had so many people ask for them, and I totally get it. And then it'll just be a dark background and chill sounds in the background. So hopefully it helps people get to sleep. That's tough to do these days. A tomahawk or a spear and a Colt Walker on the wall. Yeah, I thought that too, but I don't know if I can put like a firearm in the background without HOK or without a YouTube harshing me. Though I live not far from like a premier firearms dealer here in Austin, like a historic firearms dealer. Rangers lead the way. RLTW, right? That's the acronym. I sleep to your stuff all the time, says Risa. Oh, right on. This will just give you a different version of it. I think this will be more conducive to sleeping too. I really do. For me, it would be. HOKC readers, writers, researchers was going for something close to regulators. Yeah, I like that. HOKC writers, yeah, writers. I could see that. HOKC like a vintage neon beer sign. Yeah, that's literally what I'm thinking, Charles Smith, with like the black and orange aesthetic that I have on the channel, something like that, or black and yellow. Pew pews in the background are okay as long as you don't touch them. Okay, all right. If I can get my hands on, I might spend all the money on the sign. Your content should have a warning: do not listen to while driving. Fair enough. I get it. It's not the fastest moving show, but it's very intense. I live not far from a weapons testing facility. I live very close to a fancy shooting range here in Austin. And I've said this before, but it sounds like freaking Saigon over there all day long. Like pow, 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 pow. I don't know what they're doing over there. I'm totally cool with them doing it. I'm 2A. It's all good. But sometimes it's like, you guys have been shooting for like 5 hours. Like what's happening, man? Are you just missing every time or what? We ride by the light of a neon moon. I like that actually. Your voice is very pleasing, says Bam. Well, thank you. It depends on who you ask, you know. In fact, your content should have okay, I got that. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, I'm giving the chat one more scan through here. Then I'm going to call it a night, but we'll be back in the morning too, so no worries. Just get a replica so you can claim that as a defense. I don't know how much those go for, but I'd be down for that. Because the sign's going to be, like Bamadina said, not cheap, but it's an investment. I make Matuve weapons. I can make you a spear or such. I'd be down for that. They're really easy to make. Yeah, man, I'd be down for that. I don't know what the shipping native. Okay. I make native weapons. I thought that was a word I didn't know. I can make you a spear or such. Yeah, I'd be down, dude. I don't know what the shipping situation is, but we can work that out. And really, like, let's pick one of your paintings to put up there too. That'd be cool. Josh has all the talent. He's a talented guy, isn't he? We got several really talented people here. Let's see. Okay, we got that. An old Henry, a bow and arrow, and a tomahawk, Comanche spear too. I don't know if we'd have room for that. You'll see. That's why I said, like, let me get the rough thing put together, and then we can kind of work on what's going to fit there. Because it's going to be like, dude, it'll be like, I don't know, not a huge space. It's kind of in the corner of this room. It'll look big on camera, but I won't have like a ton of space. It's like, I don't know, maybe 20% of this room. It's not very big. It's not a very big room. I live in the country and it's quiet here. I envy that. That's how I grew up, and here is not the country. 3D print one? 3D print of what though? I can't do music all the time. I have to hear interesting. Yeah, I can hardly listen to music now. You have a good voice, Brandon. I can't listen to everyone because I can't take their voice. Well, thank you very much. I do get that. Sometimes someone's voice is the make or break for me listening, which isn't fair, but it's how it is. Nick Sweeney says 3D print a firearm. I mean, there's a lot of places in Austin that do that. 3D print me some green. I don't think they've gotten there yet. 3D print a war horse. I don't know if we can do that yet, guys. I don't know if y'all understand 3D printing. I'm kidding. Let's see here. But yeah, it shouldn't. I'm just going to have like a desk. We'll have a thing in the background. I need to get like some kind of black background against the wall. I don't think the white is going to look great. But once that is set up, yeah, let's take a look at it and see what would fit, what wouldn't for the background. Let's see. I make war clubs, spears, quivers, arrows. I just started on my first attempt at making a bow. Wow. And where are you at, Josh McAllister? What state are you in? I don't understand faxing, says Nick Sweeney. I'm not a fan of faxing either, Nick. 3D print me a new job, says Arizona Boy. I would if I could, bro. I would do it like that. Very pleasing to the ear, HOKC is. Well, that's good, because before I started, I didn't really know. I used to be a DJ, though. I guess that's a good sign. Do you know the Braun brothers? I do not, Charles Smith. Braun brothers. Is that a history rep? Braun brothers. It's not ringing a bell. I feel like I should, but I don't. They 3D print me. I know, and that's super gross. A lot of YouTubers have a really annoying cadence to their storytelling. It's repetitious and annoying, like a BBC News report. It's sing-songy. Does everyone know what I'm talking about? Yeah, some channels. I mean, a lot of people complain about our cadence here, my cadence. I got a lot of AI accusations. Got the files located, Ben Lowry says. What files? That's what files are you talking about? Ben Lowry. Oh, to print a Colt Walker. Okay. I thought you were talking about another file release that's going on right now. Can you really I guess you can 3D print that, right? Why not? I'm not telling you to, okay, in case whatever Fed is watching us tonight. We know there's got to be at least one, right, guys? Good news, though. Arizona Boy has been cleared of all Fed charges. We found out it's not, in fact, him. So we got our eye out for who it is. Somebody in here is an agent. We know it. There was some dudes that 3D printed a house. Yeah, 3D printed houses. There's like a whole company that prints them. Probably more than one. Oh, let's see. Did Josh tell me where he's at? I'm in the Florida Panhandle. Is that Niceville or Niceville? Right next to that. Really? Okay, I have a friend out there. Oh, maybe we've talked about Floribama before, but my friend loves Floribama. Ellie McFadden, I got accused of being a bot. We know you're not a bot, and we know you're not a Fed, Ellie. No worries. Let's see. Jason and Richard Braun. I don't know. I'll look that up. Braun Brothers. Braun Brothers. Right? Feds abound. They're everywhere, Nick. And you know who would say that feds abound, Nick? A Fed. Hmm. Thou doth protest too much, Nick Citron. Been to Floribama, but too drunk to remember, says Bama Deanna. That sounds like a common thing, right? That's why my buddy loves it. AZB assigned Fed duty to Brandon, LOL, and he bailed out early. It's definitely not me, guys. It's definitely not me. I would never be a Fed. No, it's not me. Let's see. What if we get that weird guy from like the Sean Ryan podcast and stuff, the former CIA agent with the big like long, like long black hair. It's hard to describe it. I don't know. The long black hair though, kind of a weird looking guy. What's his name? He says, "Oh, I used to work for the CIA." Oh, cool, buddy. Yeah, I used to be 5'10". Guess what? I'm still 5'10". No such thing as a former Fed. Am I right? Let's see. I got accused of being a bot. Okay, we got that. We got that. The lady, not Duff, protests too much. Well, I said doth. Yeah. Same line, though. He looks kind of, yeah, something like that. Let's see. Once a cop, always a cop. I mean, I would give a cop a break for sure. I support the police and all that good stuff. The good ones. Andrew Bustamante, that's who I'm talking about. Yeah, squirmy little Fed. You ain't fooling nobody, Andrew Bustamante. Oh, I used to work for the CIA. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, right on. The sun used to rise in the east and set in the west. Guess what? Still does. Got to go to bed, says Ellie McFadden. No problem. We're wrapping it up. We're wrapping it up too. Fed cop, man. I'm with you, Josh McAllister. Like, don't get me wrong, man. I try to be diplomatic in my answer there, but yeah, he kind of looks okay. We got that. Andrew Bustamante. I got it. His name was not coming to mind. But yeah, that guy. Like, come on. There used to be no moon. I'm kind of I'm curious about that too, Bama. I'm not a big fan of moon stuff. I'm going to give you the CIA's secret. Sure thing, glowing man. Right. He's just like, oh, I came here on this podcast to tell you all the secrets of the CIA, and they're totally cool with it. They're actually fine with it that I come on this very popular podcast and give away all the CIA's secrets. Like, oh, okay, cool. Well, glad you made it. Can we get you a cup of coffee? Let's see. Good night, Charles, says Space Cowboy. Got to unpack. Space Cowboy out. Thanks for coming by, man. Stay safe up there. Nick Citron says he's counter intel. 100%. So is Mike Baker. Remember Rogan has that guy on all the time? Mike Baker. Says, well, this is how it used to work in the CIA. Oh, cool. That's how it used to work, huh? There are ancient writings talking about a time before the moon. Yeah, I'm super dubious on I'm with you, Bamadiana. Like I don't buy almost anything moon related. I would say that. Let's see. Anything moon related that comes from our government. I would say that. I got a friend that jazzed up some of their feeds, and I'll tell you that there's not much impossible, improbable. I don't know what that means, Josh McAllister. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. But yeah, I haven't read the stuff about there being no moon, but yeah, I'd probably agree with it. I got a friend that jazz up on their feeds, and I tell her that it's not impossible, improbable, but or unlikely, but I very much doubt it. You mean going to the moon? Yeah, I'd say it's far past improbable. Let's see. Have you heard of the no Earth theory? No, but I'd be interested. That's why I roll solo. You just don't know. I'd have a heart attack. Someone said they were government anything, says Happy Cappy. Yeah, you don't want to live your life in paranoia, though. Let's see. I mean, if they said like, whatever, I don't want to get in. I don't want to have. I have enough agencies coming for me as it is. But our people walked on the moon, and someone went ahead of time to film it when they got there. I know, and then they bounced the video signal back through the Van Allen radiation belt to Australia, and then a direct live feed from Australia back to Houston, which broadcasts to the entire nation. It's right. It's more likely that that happened, and they filmed all of it on a soundstage in Hollywood and Burbank. It's not like Stanley Kubrick had just released Space Odyssey. Yeah, all live. It's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. That'll get some people really mad, but it's like, no, come on. What does Occam's razor dictate there? Let's see. That's why I wrote, okay, we got that. I lost like 10 people in the chat once I said we didn't go to the moon. And the actors and the government being arrested and executed, all the jazz. We live in a movie, says Josh McAllister. Yeah, pretty much, especially at this point. Get a telescope and you can see the lunar landing site. I don't know about that. Less technology than a cell phone today. Absolutely. Absolutely. No Earth. Just when I thought flat Earth couldn't be topped. Do tell, Red. Yeah, I know a lot about flat Earth, but I do not know about no Earth. And I kind of feel like they're just upping flat Earth, and I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. You mean a simulation? Yeah, I don't know that we literally live in a simulation, but at this point, I don't know that we don't. I don't think that we do, to be serious, but like, yeah, this is absolutely insane. The people that, yeah, and you will get people, as you can see, we lost like 15 people just the second I said moon landing. So it riles people up. I know it ain't flat, says Bamadiana. Well, we will get into that on the Hidden History channel. Don't you worry. And to be all right, we only have so many people here, so I can tell you guys this. I'm just I don't know. I try to stay pretty neutral on whether it's flat or round, right? But I know a lot of both arguments on both sides. And one thing that I think is a legitimate point is the telescope point, because they you can videotape a telescope, a high-powered telescope, zooming out. It can show a ship here, right, from several miles away that should be theoretically over the horizon if there's a curved spherical Earth. But it will zoom all the way back. You wouldn't if you were trying to zoom in on this ship, the telescope only works on a straight line, right? Like it's not going to curve over a curve. If I was trying to look at someone from behind, if they were standing behind this door jamb, it wouldn't matter how far I went away. If I'm on a parallel line with it, I'm never going to see behind that door jamb. So the same theory here, where it's like, well, if you're able to zoom in that far, it would have to be on a flat surface for you to see it. Does that make sense? Like the telescope, the telescope's view is not going to curve with the Earth. The only way that the telescope would be able to zoom in that far is if it's on a flat surface. It's just one interesting point. But I just know the arguments, and it's an entertaining conversation to have. But I don't stake a hard claim. Let's see. I'm telling you guys, that is so divisive. You can talk about all kinds of crazy stuff, and people will be like, "Yeah, I'm down for that." And then the moment you say flat Earth, boy, people get riled up. And that's kind of what I'm into with the hidden history. I like it. I fell off the Earth one time and don't recommend it, says Brandini. I wouldn't recommend that. Do you think Mars and Venus are flat? I don't even know if they're there at this point. I am humbled and honored. Got that. Even ancient civilization knew the Earth was not flat, says Elite Super Grunt. I don't know. Many of them did believe it was flat and under a firmament. And if you guys know about Werner von Braun, the kind of godfather of NASA, long story short, who was brought over in Operation Paperclip, on his tombstone is a very curious Bible verse It is Joshua, but I forget the exact chapter and verse. Bible verse. It is, maybe it is Genesis. No, there's several Bible verses that refer to a firmament, though, meaning like a dome over the earth. Trying to find the exact one that's on Warner von Braun, because there's a specific one on his tombstone. It's not telling me the exact one. Oh, it's Psalm. I thought it was Joshua. It's Psalm 19:1. A very curious thing for an agnostic rocket scientist who's the head of NASA. It says, "The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim, the firmament proclaims the work of his hands." Very curious thing. But it doesn't prove anything. Jamilian, hey, good to see you. What's happening tonight? We talked a little bit about the Linnville Raid, and now we're kind of devolving into flat Earth theories. Well, maybe I am. I don't know about the chat. Do I have your name right? I feel like, is it Jamie? I feel like I'm saying Jamilian, and that's not right. Let's see. What's happening? Okay, we got that. 6 days old in God's time. Maybe it's a matter of time and space being malleable concepts. But there is a mathematical way to make that work, to my understanding. Let's see. I may not walk with God, but I stand with Godzilla, says Nick Sweeney. A bold choice. Bold choice. I can still remember what it feels like to think that we just landed on the moon. Talk about morale boosters. Good investment. It certainly was a morale booster. You can just call me Jamie. Okay, cool. I was wondering about that. Jamilian is just something that came. Oh, like chameleon, but different. All right. If you prefer Jamilian, not a problem. I was just curious about that. Let's go. Okay, we got that. Scanning the chat. I think we got people's hackles up with the flat Earth subject. I believe in the Bible that the Earth is 6 days old. Yeah, I mean, like, I think this whole notion of billions of years is ridiculous. Let's see. I don't claim to know anything for sure anymore. That's kind of where I'm at, Nick Citron. Except the 6 billion years or whatever. Not true. Let's see. Because if that was true, why were they finding fossils from earlier eras underneath fossils from supposedly later eras? None of it plays out. Same thing with dinosaurs, guys. Hate to tell you, but look up the Bone Wars. Dinosaurs, total psyop, not real. Let's see. Welcome, Jamilian. Excellent wordplay there. Yeah, maybe I should. I don't know. Jamilian it rolls off the tongue. I just want to make sure I wasn't, surmising the wrong name. Who wrote Genesis, Exodus, and so on? Well, the Jewish people of the time, I believe. Let's see. If the Earth was flat, would we be poking through the other side? Would we be poking through the other side all the time? I'm not sure what that means. My dinosaur bit me and I had to put it down, says Brandini. A tragic story told all too often in these days. Have you seen an ostrich in person? Yeah, from a distance. I used to work in the zoo and I had to clean the emus pens. So I've had a lot of up close experience with the emus. That's close to a dinosaur in my opinion. 100%, dude. I could see there being like giant emus or something. But this notion of like giant featherless lizards, they're basically just like finding bones and piecing them together any way they can. That's how it all started. The Jewish came thing through. Well, not to my understanding, because that's like where it all starts. Emu is what you get at Taco Bell. Possibly, Josh McAllister. Those ingredients are shady, man. Some people love Taco Bell. And I'm just like, dude, there's a substantial part of this meat that's like soy drippings or something. Let's see. Empty Earth. Okay, we got that. I think I'm almost caught up. Wow, we stretched this to 2 hours, guys. Just like a minute ago, I thought I was saying it's an hour and a half. I meant to keep it short, but what are you going to do? Uh, let's see. Who gave them their information to write down? As far as I know, that's divine revelation. As far as I'm aware, I'm not an expert on the origins of the books. That's a good question. As far as I know, they're just Jewish texts from divine revelation and history. Let's see. They have full skeletons. I don't know what that means. I like it though. Space Cowboy. Blah, 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 blah. It's the 66 books of the Bible were written over 40 different authors. Correct. Yeah, over 1500 year period. And ultimately, like there's a lot of Gnostic gospels. Like it was the Bible wasn't around for the first 400 years of the Christian church. It was eventually codified. And really, in the Orthodox one, we have 72 books. Martin Luther went a little crazy in the 1500s. He was right about some stuff, but then he threw out some books for no reason. The Bible also talks about dinosaurs. Yeah, I mean, like there were giant creatures of some kind. I mean, like large creatures, but the dinosaurs they're constructing today are just a mishmash of bones that they're finding. And they're from all different eras. And it seems like carbon dating is largely for the birds. King James edited to fit his narrative. Yeah, more or less true. He pulled stuff out. It was to annul. He was just mad the Catholic Church wouldn't give him an annulment, basically. My daughter took me to eat tonight, but I just had a margarita. Right on. You got to have food with the margarita, though. Mhm. James McAllister. Yeah, that'd be my understanding. There was oral traditions, eventually written down. I mean, the Old Testament was around for a long time, and then the New Testament, obviously, I don't know, thousands of years younger than that. I'm not a biblical historian, though. I don't want to get myself in hot water there. Hit that like button. Yeah, absolutely. If you're in here, hit the like button. Dinosaurs are not old. They lived with early man. I'm digging it. I'm down, man. I'll go down that rabbit hole. I don't have like a whole lot of hard stances. I think my one hard stance, yeah, maybe my one hard. I got a couple interesting ones, but my hard stance might be the moon landing. Might be that. Because come on. Have you ever heard of the game Telephone? Yeah, for sure. Long live chatty lives. So much fun considering I'm an introvert and recluse. I can chat with cool peeps. So yeah, come on in. That's what this is for. I'm an introvert too. I just don't mind being on camera, I guess. An old Indian once told a missionary, all you Christians read the same words from the same book, but no two of you can agree on anything that it says. That is the very nature of epistemic certainty, Josh McAllister. That is why a interpretive authority is so important. That is why those who codified the book, I think, are um, the necessary interpreters of that, and why apostolic succession becomes so important. Like, yes, how do you know what you know? You must consider the writings in the time and context of the people who wrote them, and then you must have some kind of uh, linear authority passed down through the ages that maintains those interpretations. The Bible is an anvil that has been worn out, that has worn out many hammers, for sure. The fossil record doesn't take into account a huge flood. Yeah, that's very interesting. I haven't delved, Del- delved. Yeah, sure. Let's go with that into that very much, but I find it very interesting. I'll flood your fossils any day. Yeah, and I'm not saying that fossils aren't real. I'm not saying that I'm even a necessarily young Earth creationist or whatever, but probably am. But the bones exist, right? But they're just kind of like piecing them together. It all began with the bone wars in the 19th century. And I get it. There's some paleontologist out there who's like racking his hair out right now. Listen to this hillbilly say this, but it's true. It's true. It's all just hooey, man. At the end of the day. Let's see. Oh, carbon dating. Yes, that's fine. Let's see. Well, about the dinosaur footprints. Yeah, I mean, there could have been large creatures. I don't think they have fossilized footprints, though. Like, sorry, there's no proof that those are fossilized footprints. Randall Carlson. I know. He's just like, I'm sure he's a nice guy. but that's just tiresome for me to listen to. Rogan has him on again and again and again, and just like, I don't get it. He's interesting to listen to. I'm not dogging him. How does Bigfoot fit into all this? Could be an interdimensional being. Um, could be, I mean, some kind of missing link. My thought, I don't know if he's real or not, but if he is, I could see him being interdimensional. All the Randall you can handle. Yeah, I'm not a hater. I should kind of like walk that back a little bit. But some of it's like, I don't know. I'm not huge on ancient lost civilizations and them having like special technology. Young Dryas was also the time of the sinking of Atlantis. I don't know what that is. But all the things I'm saying, especially related to conspiracy, are not hard stances. I'm totally open to having the conversation. That's why I want to have the other channel. Like I said, probably the firmest stance that I have is the moon landing. Otherwise, like, yeah, I'm open to talking about it. I'm open to listening to what other people have to say because your guess is as good as mine. There's some creek or river in Texas that has, yeah, that's it's not Granbury. It's by Granbury, Texas. It's not far from Stephenville. It's a famous like attraction site. But I've been out there. It's a bunch of dents in the rock. It's like, well, you know this was dinosaur footprints. How you know that? Let's see. Jimmy Corsetti is pretty cool to watch. I don't know what that is or who that is. Have you watched the Red Thread YouTube channel? I can't say that I have, but that sounds familiar. I'm going to write that down. Red Thread. Okay. Let's see. Bigfoot is the guardian and protector of Mother Earth. See, I'm down, dude. I'm down to listen to that. I'm down to like explore that. Because, like, maybe, man, maybe for all I know, and like, I get it saying he's interdimensional. If I had to guess, is he real and an interdimensional being? I guess if it's like, if I have money on the line, I'd say probably not, but I'm totally open to it. Like, what do I know? And it makes sense that, like, if we can't find him, that he would be interdimensional. It's not impossible. Bigfoot is the aliens' failed attempt to make a human. Man, the aliens thing, I guess, is my second thing where I'm just like, I think aliens are either angelic and or demonic, but I don't think they are beings from a faraway planet. And or also just a complete psyop by the US government. Our good friends. Our good friends. I'm gonna end up on a list before this podcast is over. I'm already there, right? I'm probably already on a list. Bigfoot. Okay, we got that. Got drunk one night and woke up next to a Bigfoot. Still processing. That'd probably take a little while to process. So don't rush yourself. Do you think Bigfoot and Jesus would be bros? Well, yes. Remember that time that show on Animal Planet, Finding Bigfoot? Yep, definitely. I met Bobo once at a powwow in Alaska. I'm a professional. Is that a real job? And he was the most inebriated I'd ever seen anyone, I think. I mean, you might need that to access the interdimensional quality, though, right? If you're going to find interdimensional beings, you don't want to be stuck in this dimension. I've seen Bigfoot on old Uniontown Road between Van Buren and Cedarville. What, is that Texas, man? Charles Smith? ET is completely real and disclosure will happen within 2 years. But do you know about Project Bluebeam, Bama Deanna? Because I feel like it's such an easy thing to manipulate, and it would be so useful to the government. It's something that they could pull off relatively easily. But again, that's really just my thought on it. We should get the chat to fund your quest to find Bigfoot and have a beer with him. I'll be down for that. I'll go look. I'm on the fence about aliens. Fair enough, man. Fair. I know some people, conspiracies are weird, man, because you'll have people, I'm sure, like us here, that will agree on one thing. We've seen it here with the moon landing and flat Earth, and then vehemently disagree on other things. And so I think that's healthy. You don't want to exist in an echo chamber. I met Dr. Jeff Muldrum at AlienCon 2019. Okay, so you're pro? I guess the best way to put it is pro aliens, Elite Supergrunt. Because, like I said, I'll listen. You're on the list because I'm here. Brandon says Happy Cappy. Agent Happy Cappy has me on the list. The Greys are future humans. Yeah, I've heard that. Let's see. Sam Houston forests have Bigfoot sightings. I do know that. I do know that. A lot of Bigfoot sightings in Texas. There are some near Austin. If we are not on a list, we are doing something wrong, says Risa. Probably. Probably. Let's see. I'm down like 4 flat tires on a Cadillac. I like that. I never heard that saying. Let's see. Bama says this particular thing with the grays does not have anything to do with Bluebeam. Okay. I'm going to write that down just so I can kind of delve into it a little bit more. I have like a surface level knowledge of Bluebeam. So time is not linear. It is parallel. Yeah, I don't think time is linear. Let's see. Great Deception. Are you talking about Project Bluebeam? Lucy is a wonderful guy. Let's see. Okay, guys. I think we're at Bigfoot is real. Man Bear Pig saw once real. I mean, Man Bear Pig might not be fake himself. You got to be careful how much you talk about him, Nick Sweeney. He might show up at your door. Hard for me to take any of this recent UFO stuff from the Pentagon seriously. Yeah, man, I feel like it's so forced. It is only linear on the Earth plane. Yeah, I'm with you, Bam Deanna. I don't think it's linear. Greys are androids, are an android thing from the future. Yeah, I don't know much about the Greys. I'd have to look a little more into that. Everyone also has their like special corners of the conspiracy world, and oftentimes one corner goes unexplored at the expense of another, or one time they go explored at the expense of another. Pet detectives, good to see you. No worries. We're getting close to wrapping it up, so we're just letting the chat vent about their favorite conspiracies here. Concur, my Lucy. Many parallel universes. Yeah, I think there's probably something like that. Study string theory. Yeah, I've done a little bit into string theory. I wouldn't disagree with you. Let's see. But for me, I haven't solidified that concept in my mind, I would say. I have a lot of deja vu, says Happy Cappy. Well, maybe you should get checked out. Sometimes that's not that's an indicative of something else. Bigfoot is on the moon. Mark my words, we will find him there. It's going to be tough if we can't get there, though, dog. Where you been, pet detectives? Says Happy Cappy. Great Deception. Nothing we see is true or real here, says Risa. That's a tough thing. It's like that's not necessarily the case. Like probably most of what you see is real, but it's a matter of discerning the truth from the falsities. Because I think to be a reputable conspiracy theorist, you have to at least acknowledge that probably the large chunks of reality are probably the majority of it is not like a conspiracy simulation necessarily, right? There are things that are real, but then there are things that are way out there. One of my astrophysicist friends got deep into string theory during a party and everyone was blown away. You have astrophysicist friends? I don't. Let's see. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. What I say is all true. Yeah, I'm saying you're right. Conspiracy theorist is a term invented by the CIA. So I'm kind of using it as just a blanket term everyone will understand, right? But yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. I wouldn't say everything I believe right now is true, but like I said, yeah, I've got some stuff where it's like, no, I'm not moving from that hill. Things be vibrating out here, says Brandini. Well, some people pay good money for that, Brandini. I've seen a UAP here before, says Elite Super Grunt. We unmanned. What is a UAP again? I should know this. We should have a UKC. Yeah, we should have a HOKC compost. I mean compound, and look for Bigfoot and call aliens with our combined psychic powers. I don't know, man. I don't know how far we'd get with that. We might be better served just having the chats. Bama says, "I see you are with them." Oh no, definitely not. If I was with them, I'd be wearing a lot fancier clothes, Bro, you should do a conspiracy theories of the Old West. We kind of touched on that a little bit a couple weeks ago, but we can do more. There are more than you would think. I don't think they are an invention of modern times. Oh, conspiracy theories? No, certainly not. Bamadiana says, I'm a medium. I'm a large, depending on what brand it is. I'm just kidding. I don't believe about the simulation theory thing buyout lately. What are the conspiracy theories of the Old West? Oh, geez, I'm blanking on it now, but we found a couple of them. Um, Now that you're asking me, that's been so many live streams ago. I'm like blanking on it. Uh, I can go back and look. Go. The live stream was pretty good too. It would be 2 weeks ago, I think. It was like Mysteries of the Old West. Let's see. Unmanned anomalous phenomenon. Okay, so just like an unmanned UFO of sorts. Josh and Empath 2. I'm looking here. I'm looking. You serious? Oh, you serious? Yeah, I wasn't making light of being a medium. I was just getting my I guess getting my I don't know, you're just trying to find something to say, you know. Let's see. Such as show business. UAP is the CIA's new UFO. Okay, that's what I was thinking. It's fair to use those terms interchangeably. Elizondo is on video telling people why they had to change UFO to UAP. Oh, okay. The former had become too kooky. It was a marketing move. Okay. Control the language, control the people, right? My reality is real. Got that. Bammy, you're small. Oh, guys, I shouldn't have started the small, medium, large joke. I was just trying to come up with something to say. Let's see here. So it seems like we have a fair amount of UFO fans here. All right, telling you guys, this channel will be a good side project. See if I'm missing anything here. Nothing we see is true or real. Okay, we covered that. You might be right. He didn't use a marketing move. That's my take. Yeah, I see what you mean, but they switched the verbiage so it sounded less kooky, to use your term. Let's see. I don't believe. Okay, got that. We could all get together and meditate to levitate the Pentagon. Guys, we can't be doing that. We got enough problems. There are conspiracy theories, aliens and cryptids in Red Dead 2. Yeah, we talked about cryptids. We talked about the Skinwalker. That was an interesting episode. I'm trying to think of a couple of the conspiracies. Some of it is the Confederate diaspora into Southern California. We talked about the Lincoln assassination, which is a big, huge conspiracy. Man, there's been others, and I can't believe it's been many live streams ago though, so I'm kind of blanking on it. But it was a good stream. The Skinwalker one is its own stream, so check that one out. I looked for stuff on cowboys and aliens, but that seems more of like a 20th century phenomenon. I didn't find a lot that I could really verify. I was hoping I would. And we did one on Skinwalker Ranch, which is again like there's a lot of lore behind it in the 19th century, but it seems to have like really even only been settled in the 20th century, very early 20th century. But let's see. One thing I never got clarity information was how the Plains Indian reacted to tornadoes. I don't know, man. I've kind of wondered that myself and just never looked into it. But yeah, I've been like out driving or whatever, and I thought like, well, how did they deal with tornadoes and flash floods and stuff like that? We know that they started their own prairie fires. We know that they were, um, you know, capable of land management. They were doing a lot of that stuff, but I don't know what their standard operating procedure was. I'll look into that. Let me write that down because I've thought that before, and that would be something neat to learn. Tornadoes. Okay, guys. Sorry if you can hear this chair squeaking. It's going crazy on me. I've seen a skinwalker on the road deep in a reservation. Was this in Navajo territory? Says Brandini. Super scary. Looked like a shaman covered in animal skin. That would be a skinwalker. Yeah, people kind of conflate them with wendigos, and a wendigo is kind of a punishment, a and a kind of a state of it is you can turn into this kind of animal that is a wendigo, where the skinwalker is like a society of medicine men of sorts in the Navajo Nation. Lincoln was the late great Nathaniel Bedford Forrest, really the grand dragon. I don't know much about Forrest, but I would highly doubt that those that were punished for Lincoln's assassinations were the only ones or were even involved themselves in the assassination. Because the unaliving of John Wilkes Booth is incredibly suspicious. Well, the TP is designed to withstand 100-mile-an-hour wind. Yeah, for sure. But they would have had to bail out in emergency situations. They'd go into the storm and pray and sing. Yeah, I don't doubt that. I just wonder, like, if they had any standard operating procedure for quickly tearing down the lodges, or if you just bailed, if you obviously tried to get to the nearest gully, or if they planned the locations of their camps at certain times of year around tornado season. I don't know any of these things, but it would be interesting to see or to find out about. They watched the weather and got into ditches and caves. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, but I'd like to see like actual accounts of it because I just never have looked into it. I mean, just having a grasp, understanding of what's going on. Imagine seeing something like that with no scientific understanding. I'm sure they had some theological basis behind it. Wendigo is an evil spirit, right? Yeah, but it can be something where the person is afflicted spiritually, and they also have. Just depends on the tribe, it seems like, but it's all usually. I think it's all kind of confined to the Northeast with the Wendigo, and some of the tribes have them turning into their own type of hybrid creature, and some have it as just like someone who goes insane. It's a punishment for cannibalism, basically. If you indulged or even were forced to partake in cannibalism, it's this kind of spiritual sickness that would overcome you. I saw a YouTube video that spoke on the tornadoes. Really, I've never even looked into it, so I'm excited to look into it. Let's see. Tribes of the Amazon created terra firma. That's an interesting. The tribes of the Amazon are a really interesting rabbit hole in and of themselves. Because I don't know why these conquistadors would have made up stories about particularly women being that tall and such ferocious fighters. That's a very curious thing to make up. Makes me think of that movie Ravenous. Yeah, Ravenous is, you know, it's a funnier version of that, but the strongest tornado ever was recorded in Alabama. I heard about that. It's tornado territory. Red Diesel says, "You look like you can make a good tornado chaser." I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know if that's a compliment or not. I'm fixing to get a haircut too, so we'll see. We'll see then. Was El Dorado real? I don't, man. Who knows? Who knows at this point, right? In my opinion, it's largely fictional. I think they were. Whoa. A lot of it, I think, just comes from one tribe saying, "Oh no, there's a bunch of gold over there. You got to go over there." So that it gets the Spaniards or whatever group of people is seeking gold off their back. I'm very afraid of tornadoes, says Happy Cappy. That's a healthy fear. Let's see here. All right, I think we're almost caught up. Okay. So, see, am I forgetting to go over anything? Tomorrow we will have our normal coffee talk at noon. That'll be right. Yeah, noon. Is that right? Yes, I do. No. No, I have that right. Yeah, noon Eastern. Sorry, I got a lot of times running through my head. Noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific will be our coffee talk time. And then we'll be back again at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific for our nighttime stream. We'll have a couple shorts out tomorrow. We'll have, what else? The episode out on Wednesday. Let me see if I'm missing anything else here. Cheers. Oh, what's up, on Real Estate Agent? Are you just getting in here? We're just kind of closing up. I'm sending Bigfoot to tuck you in, says Red Diesel. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. After watching Twister, I'm afraid to go into the Midwest. I don't blame you. It might be a good call. I'm seeing some tornado talk, but I'm kind of lost. Bama says that's how they got the Spanish to move along, was to lie about gold. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty pragmatic, right? Pretty smart. Just got through listening to Black Barrel Media channel and in-depth Billy the Kid documentary. I'll listen to Black Barrel Media. They're good. Okay. Good to see you, broski. You too, man. Glad you made it. Sorry, we're just kind of closing up shop, but we'll be here tomorrow. Night, y'all. Thanks, Brandon. I don't care what Nick Sweeney says about you. You're all right, man. Nick Sweeney is our biggest fan, though. Nick Sweeney, I take everything he says with a grain of salt because I know he just wants to make us better. So, all right. Closing out. We will be back tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern. Come check us out for the coffee time. 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be here for the nighttime stream. When are we doing Artful's movie night selection? That'll be Saturday. I have that. I believe that I have 310 to Yuma penciled in. If that's right. Let me check the date on that. That will be Saturday, but I don't know the exact numerical date. Saturday, the 27th, we have 310 to Yuma scheduled. If I have that wrong, let me know. But that's what I've got down. I don't know if Artemio's here, but we'll ask him before Saturday. Thanks, man. Yeah, thank you all for coming by. I really appreciate it. Always great seeing y'all. Thank you all again for all the support. We will see you back here. Same bat time, same bat channel, all that good stuff. And yeah, looking forward to it. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank you again for all the support. And yeah, we'll do it again soon. All right. God bless. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Oh, wait, hold on. I got a $2 super chat from Bama Deanna. I didn't want to go away without saying thank you. Thank you so much, Bama Deanna. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone who donated, who liked the stream, who shared the stream. Really, truly, I appreciate all the support. We're seeing the stream grow, which is great. And I love doing this. So thank you all again for all the support. Okay, so now we will see you tomorrow. Thank you again. Have a good night and God bless. See y'all.